Hello everyone, I am Pratap here. Today is the 28th June 2025. In this video, I am going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. If this is your first visit to our channel, please note you can access all the training lessons at our NeoStock YouTube channel. To access the training lessons, you just click on the tab Posts. Then you get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that is having all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now you are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. To start that training, scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions. The training instructions are available at our Telegram channel. I am providing the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Go to the video description, join at our Telegram channel. In the old previous messages, you can find all the training instructions. I also added the training instructions in the pinned messages also. So either way you can access. So if you learn the course as per my training instructions, you will become a very good independent trader in the coming days. Please make use of this opportunity. Okay, now I am generating different supply demand zone reports with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. And some instructions are, I am giving you very few seconds to watch the reports. So that's why I request you pause the video before you are moving from one report to another report. Pause the video, study the report, and then proceed to the next reports. And I am also giving commentary about different types of reports and how to generate. So if this is your first time if you are watching, please listen the commentary so that it will be useful to you for your future reports understanding. Okay, first I am generating daily and 75 minutes stocks near demand and supply zones. Daily and 75 minutes time frame, stocks near daily and 75 minutes demand and supply zones. And in these reports, we will identify high liquidity zones, and you can use those high liquidity zones as per the HLQ zone strategy I explained in lesson 21.3 video series. Okay, first daily time frame, stocks near to the daily demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zone from the column, zone column. So this is a high liquidity demand zone, Indus Tower. This stock is also having high liquidity supply zone. As I explained earlier, if a zone is near to the demand zone, even though if it is having supply zone, either side you may get trade opportunities. If the distance is somewhat near, you may get trade opportunity. If the distance, see 3% distance is there between both these zones. If the distance is more, you get trade opportunity only in the demand zone. If the distance is very close, you may get trade opportunity either side. But when you are using for stocks near demand zone, don't look into the supply zone. Only this is the exceptional scenario because it is having, this stock is having both demand and supply zone. See, earlier stock, we are seeing stocks supply zone is also there, but we are not bothering about this because this list is about stocks near the demand zone. That is important. That's why our focus is on the demand zones. Okay, Indus Tower. Next, any other high liquidity demand zone? Let us identify. Yeah, here one more is there. That is the Tata Consumer. And then one more is also there. This is the Tata Chemical. So we identified 3 stocks near to the daily demand zones, high liquidity demand zones. You can use these 3 demand zones for your HLQ zone strategy. Okay, next we will look into stocks near daily supply zone. I'm going back. the daily time frame, stocks near to the daily supply zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Asian Paints is having stocks near daily high liquidity supply zone. Poonawalla is a pierced zone, so you can't use it for HLQ zone strategy. Those who are studied pierced zone strategies, probably you can consider this stock for our pierced zone strategy if any order flows are available. As per the concepts you learned in pierced zone strategy, I explained in lesson 28, if I am not wrong. Okay. So we have identified only one stocks near daily high liquidity supply zone. Only one stock we identified from this list. Okay, this is about daily time frame. Next time frame, 75 minutes. For 75 minutes time frame, stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Okay, Godrej Consumer Properties is having one daily high liquid, 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. It is already tested several times. If you are having any fine-tuned 5-minute zones, you can plan your trade. Otherwise, zones might be violated. Or any high liquidity zones also, 5 minutes high liquidity zones also, you can plan a trade even though they are tested. Okay, anyway, one zone we identified here. That's it. We have identified only one 75 minutes high priority, high liquidity demand zone from this list. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, stocks near to the 75 minutes supply zone, we got 12 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Amber is having, this is a newly added stock into the F&O. Amber is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Federal Bank is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. Page Industries, it is a zone is pierced, we can't use it. That's it. We identified two 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay. So with this, we have completed identification of daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Next, I will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Starting with NIFTY, monthly time frame, I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. In any supply demand zone chain report, always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones, and always look into LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And you know, one time frame higher is ITF and one more time frame higher is HTF trends. You are already aware of these concepts. And also don't forget, I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So you need to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain report for NIFTY. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain report. Next, I will generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain reports, changing the name to Nifty Bank. That is nothing but Bank Nifty. So generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating a weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating, the last one is 5 minute supply demand zone chain report. This is the 5 minute supply demand zone chain report for Bank Nifty. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Now we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. And next we will generate a bullish, bearish and sideways trade setups for monthly income trade, weekly income trade, daily income trade and also hourly income trades. So starting with daily income trade, monthly income trade, sideways long trade setup. Entry time frame should be daily for monthly income trade. Entry zone should be demand zone for long sideways long trade setup. And also in the bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame daily parameter, I am selecting sideways long. And I need to add some filters to this daily demand zone. 3 filters generally we add, but daily demand zone I am adding only 2. Third one, pierced zone, I am not eliminating because any pierced zone, some of you are using pierced zone strategies. So for them, those pierced zones will be helpful to plan their trades. Others can ignore. Those who don't want to use pierced zones, you can ignore if the pierced count is more than 0 in that column. Okay, only daily time frame I am generating pierced zones, remaining I am eliminating. So let us add third filter for the remaining income trades. Only monthly income trade, third filter I am not adding. Only 2 filters I am adding. First one is zone achievement. It should always be violated opposing zone and minimum odd enhancer score. It should be 11 for sideways trade setup and 12 for bullish or bearish trade setup. So because it is sideways trade setup report we are generating, I am entering the value 11. Third filter pierced zone I am not generating for monthly income trade reports. So now both these filters are applied to daily demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 8 stocks generated for monthly income trade sideways long trade setup. Always look into this. Entry time frame is daily, monthly income trade. Entry zone is demand zone. So long trade setup. That is what we defined here. Bullish, bearish, sideways trade setup at daily time frame. I have entered sideways long trade setup. This is based on zone violation trend calculations. Okay, entry time frame in all these stocks are daily demand zones. Remember, always remember, you should use these demand zones only if lesson 20 checklist is supported. Otherwise, zones will be violated. Lesson 20 checklist session is about checklist. So everybody must complete that lesson, and also everybody each before trade plan, you should check all those concepts are satisfied or not. It is very, very important. And some of these zones, see here, the demand zones are here. Don't forget about supply zones. Our focus is only on the demand zones. Supply zones are only target zones. So this is those who wants to use sideways trade setup, you can analyze this, not sideways, pierced zone strategies you can analyze. Others can ignore this stock. Okay, next, sideways short trade setup for monthly income trade. I am changing to daily supply zone, and also one more change here, sideways short trade setup. Let's filter. 3 stocks are filtered. And entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. Because monthly income trade, entry time frame is daily. So all these are all daily supply zones. Always look into this entry time frame. And also entry zone here. Okay, next, bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. The changes are daily demand zone. And here one more change, bullish. And also minimum odd and enhanced score also should be changed, because bullish or bearish the value should be 12. So with these filters, we got 19 stocks. So first 17 stocks in the list, all the entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Don't forget. Bullish trade setup, monthly income trade, entry time frame is always daily demand zone. So first 17 daily demand zones, scrolling the list down. So total 19 stocks are filtered that are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Okay, out of these 19 daily demand zone, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on zone confluence and EMA confluence filters. Okay, first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is nothing but daily and weekly demand zone confluence. So in the demand zone confluence parameter, I am selecting the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. By enabling the filter, we got 14 stocks. In all these 14 stocks, these daily demand zones, all these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. That means daily demand zone is part of the weekly demand zone. That way daily demand zone might be having more institutional order flow because it is part of the weekly zone. That is the assumption. And also weekly trend is uptrend in all the stocks. ITF trend is weekly. Because daily is overlapped with weekly and weekly trend is uptrend, we can further filter based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. Because daily is part of weekly. So I am going back. Again I am adding EMA filter and this time on weekly time frame. But our entry is daily. But daily is overlapped with weekly. That's why we are checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA. And also weekly trend is uptrend. In any uptrend or downtrend stocks, you can use EMA. Only sideways you can't use EMA Confluence. So let's filter. Now 12 stocks are filtered. In all these 12 stocks, weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence. In that weekly demand zone, daily demand zone is overlapped. So that way we are saying all these daily demand zones might be having more strong institutional order flows. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, there are higher chances zone might be violated. So you should not forget less than 20 checklist items. You should, if all satisfied, then only you should plan the trades. Okay, this is based on LTF, ITF demand zone confluence and then ITF, EMA confluence. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence is available or not. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly, HTF is monthly. So we are looking for daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence supported stocks. So I am going back, removing this ITF EMA filter. Now our focus is on HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, now we have to add 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, daily and weekly. Next filter, second filter, daily and monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence, we got 6 stocks. In all the 6 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with the weekly demand zone, both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. That means all are part of the monthly zone. And that monthly trend is uptrend in all the stocks, HTF trend. Because the trend is not sideways in all these stocks, so we can directly check if all the monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA confluence. If any of the monthly demand zone having monthly EMA, then the overlapped these daily demand zone inside monthly might be having even more strong institutional order flows. There are higher chances to get success. So let's verify. So EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA. We got 2 stocks. That way these 2 daily demand zones might be having more strong institutional order flow, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise zones will be violated. Okay, so this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. For bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, entry time frame daily, entry zone should be supply zone, bearish trade setup, and also bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame daily. I am selecting bearish. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and hands score should be 12 for bullish or bearish. Both these filters are applied to daily supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got only 3 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. So we got 3 daily supply zones. Out of these 3 daily supply zones, how many are having strong institutional order flows? That we will filter based on different zone confluence strategies. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. This time we are focusing on supply zone confluence. The first filter is the daily and weekly supply zone confluence. LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. We got all the 3 stocks. That means in all the 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And also weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks. Because weekly trend is down and daily zone is overlapped with weekly, we can further verify if any of the weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped daily supply zones might be having more strong institutional order flows. So let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at weekly, because daily is overlapped with weekly supply zone, we are checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence, because the trend is downtrend in weekly. Out of 3, 2 are filtered. That way, these 2 daily supply zones, which are overlapped with weekly supply zone. That weekly supply zone having weekly EMA. But entry time frame is daily supply zones. We are assuming these daily supply zones might be having strong institutional order flow. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones might be violated. But this is based on LTF, ITF supply zone confluence and ITF supply zone confluence strategy. I mean ITF, EMA confluence strategy. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF, even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I am going back, removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we are focusing on only supply zone confluence. 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled daily and weekly supply zone confluence. Next, daily and monthly supply zone confluence, and also weekly and monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone, both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. Because all are part of monthly zone, maybe the strong, even more strong institutional order flows are there. But EMA confluence is there, at least we can confirm that order flow could be much stronger. But unfortunately here, trend is sideways on the monthly time frame. Sideways trend, EMA confluence does not give any indication. So that's why we are not checking EMA confluence. Okay, only zone confluence is there, EMA confluence is not there because of the trend is sideways. So this is a monthly income trade reports. These are the monthly income trade reports. Next we will look into weekly income trade reports. Okay, for weekly income trade, sideways long trade setup, entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is a demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at entry time frame 75 minutes. I am selecting sideways long, and zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 11 for sideways. And also third filter also we are adding, that is 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, this is the pierced count parameter. In this at entry time frame 75 minutes, I am setting minimum value as 0, maximum value as 0. That indicates pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? Whichever the zone you are applying this filter. Which zone we are applying this filter? We are applying on 75 minutes demand zone. So 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. If pierced zones won't be displayed on the report. That is what you should understand. Apart from that, remaining other 2. So total 3. All 3 filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, and pierced zone. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. They are not applied to 75 minutes supply zone. Whichever the one you select, on that only the filters will be applied. That is what you should always remember. Okay, I am filtering the stocks. So total 3 stocks are filtered. All these 3 stocks are supporting sideways long trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Okay, next sideways short trade setup. The changes are 75 minutes supply zone, and here one more change, sideways short. Now all the 3 filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, and pierced zone, all 3 what we said earlier, now this time they are applied to 75 minutes supply zone. Because here the value is changed. Now this new value, the filters will be applied. That is what you must understand. Only one stock is filtered, and this is supporting sideways sideways short trade setup for weekly income trade, and this entry time frame zone is 75 minutes supply zone. So this zone is already tested, and then moving towards the resistance supply zone. Maybe it might have reached demand zone or target, or might be now it changed the direction and again coming back. It may support second time or third time because of high liquidity zone, as long as trend is ITF trend is sideways. Anyway, you will be learning soon the sideways trade setup related strategies. At present I am a bit busy, that's why I am not in a position to record the video. Okay, next side bullish trade setup for a weekly income trade. Bullish trade setup, the changes are 75 minutes demand zone, and here one more change, bullish, and also minimum odd and enhanced score. Now it should be changed to 12 because bullish or bearish, the minimum OE score should be 12, odd and enhanced score. Now this time all the three filters, zone achievement, minimum odd and enhanced score, and PRs to count, all the three filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. So we got a big list. First 18 stocks in the list. Total 23 stocks are filtered. So I am displaying first 18 stocks. I am giving you a few seconds. After that I will scroll the list down. If anybody studying, you have to pause and study, and then you have to proceed further because I am giving you very few seconds time. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are filtered. All these 23 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and the entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. All these are all 75 minutes demand zones. Including FinNifty. FinNifty is also there. It is an all-time high, 75 minutes demand zone. Why we are saying all-time high? Because it is not having any supply zone. Okay, total 23 stocks. Out of these 23, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. So I am enabling that. I am going back. I am adding one more filter in the demand zone confluence parameter. I am setting the filter 75 minutes demand zone confluence with daily demand zone. If both are overlapped with each other, then out of the 23 stocks, we got 15 stocks. Out of 23, these 15 stocks are overlapped with each other. Which one? 75 minutes demand zone and daily demand zone. Our entry time frame is 75 minutes demand zone. All these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zones. And also daily trend is uptrend in all the stocks. ITF trend is a daily. Because the ITF trend is a daily, that means the daily trend is a daily, you can also further filter based on daily demand zone having daily EMA or not. So that inside the daily we have 75 minutes demand zone is overlapped. So that 75 minutes demand zone might be having even more strong institutional order flows. That way we can assume. So I am going back, adding EMA filter on daily time frame. So here I am selecting daily demand zone having daily EMA or not. I am checking. Anyway, trend is uptrend for all the stocks because it is bullish trade setup. So I am filtering the stocks. We got 12 stocks. In all these 12 stocks, daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly, 75 minutes demand zones, all the 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with the weekly demand zone, and those weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA, so that these 75 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flow to get success. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied, otherwise zones will be violated. You should not forget that point. Okay, this is a LTF ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence strategy. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks, and later HTF EMA confluence supported stocks we will filter. So I am going back, removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we are focusing on HTF. So first only LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. So in the demand zone confluence filter, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Then 75 minutes and weekly demand zone confluence, and also 75 minutes demand zone and daily demand zone confluence, with all the 3 filters enabled. Sorry, first one is already enabled, this one. Sorry for the mistake. So, and third one is this daily and weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, that is 75 minutes, daily and weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones, because these are the entry time frame zones, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone, both together again overlapped with weekly demand zone, and weekly trend is up in 4 stocks. So we can further filter those 4 stocks by checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA, eliminating sideways trend stocks because the sideways trend EMA confluence does not give any advantage. So let's apply EMA filter on these 6 stocks, weekly EMA, that is HTF trend, uptrend. So I'm going back, EMA confluence at a weekly time frame, I'm checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA or not, because the daily demand zone and 75 minutes demand zone are overlapped with this weekly demand zone. They are part of weekly. So we are checking weekly. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be only uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So let's filter. We got only 1 stock. Hindustan Zinc is recently added, as today in the Telegram group I posted the list, newly added F&O, stocks F&O. Of course, we are analyzing equity stocks only, but stocks are filtered as per listing in F&O. Remember, this entire data is equity data. We don't analyze F&O charts. Look into the recent training lesson, the last training lesson in our playlist. There I explained clearly how to trade using analyzing equity stocks, but trade in F&O stocks, in case if you want to trade in F&O. So here entry time frame is 75 minutes. This is 75 minutes. This 75 minutes demand zone overlapped with daily. Both together overlapped with weekly. And weekly trend is up. And also weekly zone also having weekly EMA. So that way this stock might be having more high probability to get success, provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise zone might be violated. You should not forget that point. You may ask, this zone is already tested twice. Maybe. See, this is the power of high liquidity zone. Okay, anyway, This is about bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So entry time frame is 75 minutes for weekly income trade, and entry zone for bearish trade setup should be supply zone, and also bullish, bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at entry time frame 75 minutes. I am selecting bearish. And zone achievement should always be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score for bullish or bearish always be 12. And also this 75-minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at entry time frame 75 minutes, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count is 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? 75-minute supply zone we selected, so that zone. Now all the three filters, zone achievement, minimum odd and enhanced score and pierced count, all three parameters are applied to 75-minute supply zone. After applying the filters, we got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75-minute supply zones. All these 75-minute supply zones are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Now we can further filter out of these 77 how many stocks or which stocks might be having more institutional strong order flows that we can identify based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies. So the first strategy we are looking based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. After that we will apply EMA confluence and daily. Okay, now to check the zone confluence, which zone? Demand or supply? Supply zone, because it is bearish trade setup, always we have to use supply zone confluence filter. So in the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 75-minute supply zone having daily supply zone confluence or not. So by setting the filter and applying on the stocks, we got all 7 stocks. That means in all the 7 stocks, the 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. And also daily trend is a downtrend. ITF trend is downtrend. That is a daily trend. So that's why you can further verify in all these stocks if the daily supply zones are having daily EMA or not. So that any stocks listed, the overlapped 75 inside daily might be having much more stronger institutional order flows. So let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily. Why daily? Because 75-minute supply zone overlapped with the daily supply zone, and also this daily is having a trend as a downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So I am setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Daily supply zone with daily. So let's filter. Now one stock is filtered. So that way this daily supply zone is having more strong institutional order flow. That's why it is already tested 6 times. The previous reports would have given us a very good trade opportunities. Those who took trades on these zones would have got good profits. Okay. So this is about a bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So we have completed all the weekly income trade stocks, reports. Next we will look into daily income trade. First, daily income trade, sideways long trade setup. Entry time frame should be 15 minutes. Entry zone should be demand zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup at entry time frame 15 minutes. I am selecting sideways long. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score for sideways 11, and also the 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means Pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. Which zone? 15 minutes demand zone we selected. So all three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, and pierced count. All three filters will be applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Whichever the one you select, the filters will be applied. So let's filter. Now we got only two stocks. Currently, these two 15 minutes demand zones are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zone. Sorry, this is not bullish trade setup. Sorry for the mistake. This is sideways long trade setup. That is what I am wondering. Here is select. Here you always look into that. The parameter we selected on 15 minutes is a sideways long trade setup. So these two are 15 minutes demand zones are supporting sideways long trade setup. Okay, next sideways short trade setup. The changes are 15 minutes supply zone and one more change here, sideways short. And now all three filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone this time. Let's filter. We got only one stock supporting sideways short trade setup. See, already tested once. Okay, next bullish trade setup for daily income trade. The changes are 15 minutes demand zone, and here I am selecting bullish, and one more change here on the filters is minimum odd enhancer score should be 12 for sideways, for bullish or bearish trade setups. Because it is bullish, the value is 12. Now this time all the three filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, and pierced zone, all three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. So by applying the three filters on 15 minutes demand zone, we got 16 stocks. So these 16 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. All these are all 15 minutes demand zones. Okay, 16 stocks we got. Okay, out of these 16, how many are having more high probability to get success? Even before that, if you observe, NIFTY, NIFTY Bank, that means NIFTY, BANKNIFTY, this is a NIFTY Financial Services is FinNifty, and this is a NIFTY Next 50. All four are listed in F&O. Okay, out of these 16, how many are supporting with strong institutional order flows? That we will filter based on different zone confluence strategies and then EMA confluence strategies. Okay, let us filter based on those strategies. First strategy is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is nothing but 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. Let us enable that filter. In the demand zone confluence, I am selecting the filter 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So I enable the filter. This filter is applied on the 15 stocks. After applying the filter, we got 7 stocks. In these 7 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And also 75 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks. So let's verify any 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. That way, these 15 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flow. Provide lesson 20, checklist items are satisfied. So let's verify in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. I am checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA. Now 3 stocks are filtered. So that way these 375 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flows. provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied, otherwise zones will be violated. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence supported stocks. I'm going back, removing EMA filter. This is a ATF specific we removed. Now we are focusing on HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence is already enabled. And 2 more filters. Second one is 75 minutes, 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence, 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone, both together again overlapped with the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in 2 stocks. Let's check if any one of these stocks, out of these 2, if any one of these stocks or both stocks are having a daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 15 minutes demand zones inside daily might be having more strong institutional order flows. So I'm going back. EMA confluence at a daily time frame. I'm checking daily demand zone having daily EMA or not. And one stock is sideways, right? We don't want that. So trend on the daily should not be sideways. And it should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Let's filter. So both stocks are filtered. That means both are having strong institutional order flows. See, this is already tested once. So both these stocks might be having strong institutional order flow, provided less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones might be violated. You should not forget that. So this is a bullish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, we will look into bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. Bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 12 for bearish trade setup. And 15 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0. Maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? 15 minutes supply. So because filters will be applied on this zone. Now all the 3 filters, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer score, pierced count, all 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes supply zone. After applying the filters, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. We got 3 stocks. Out of these 3, how many are having strong institutional order flows? That we will identify based on different zone confluence and then EMA confluence strategies. Okay, first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. So in the supply zone confluence, I am setting the filter 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. It is enabled now. Now I am applying this filter on the 3 stocks. We got 2 stocks. So these 2 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend is a downtrend. So let's verify if any of the 75 minute supply zone is having daily EMA confluence further. Okay, I'm going back, adding EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame by selecting 75 minute supply zone with daily EMA confluence. Because trend is down, let's filter. So both stocks are filtered. That means both these 75-minute supply zones might be, both these 15-minute supply zones which are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. These 15-minute supply zones might be having more strong institutional order flow. See, that is the reason why it is already tested 6 times. This stock. It might have been listed earlier. So those who took trade in this stock would have got good profits. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we are focusing only on the supply zone confluence for all the 3 time frames, that is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. So here 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence is already enabled. So next 15 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone confluence, 75 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters enabled, we got these 2 stocks. So that means all the both these stocks are having this 75 minute supply zone, this 15 minute supply zone overlapped with 75 minutes, both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in only one stock. Let's verify if this daily supply zone having daily EMA. In that case, the overlapped 15 minute supply zone inside daily might be having strong institutional order flow. So in the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, checking daily supply zone having daily EMA or not. By setting, and at the same time we don't want sideways trade setup supported on daily. So that's why I'm selecting the trend as downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So we did not get any stocks. So this is about a bearish trade setup for something wrong here I made. I selected demand zone. I'm correcting the mistake. Here I have to select daily supply zone with daily EMA because it is bearish trade setup. See, entry time frame zone is supply zone. Sorry for the mistake. So this is filtered, VBL is filtered. So that way this supply zone is having strong institutional order flow. That is the reason why it is already tested 6 times. So this is about a bearish trade setup for a daily income trade. So we have completed a daily income trade reports. Next we will generate hourly income trade. For hourly income trade, entry time frame is 5 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone for sideways long trade setup. And also at 5 minutes entry time frame, I am selecting sideways long. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 11 for sideways. And also 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 5 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, all 3 filters applied to 5 minutes demand zone, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 are supporting sideways long trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. So we got 3 stocks, 5 minutes demand zones. Third one is already tested thrice. Okay, next sideways short trade setup for hourly income trade. Changes are 5 minutes supply zone and one more change here, sideways short. Let's filter. We got only 1 stock. Sideways short trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame is 5 minutes supply zone. Already tested once. Okay, next bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. The changes are 5 minutes demand zone, and here bullish, and one more change, minimum order enhancer score should be 12. Now all the filters are applied to 5 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. So total we got 17 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list supporting bullish trade setup for hourly income trade, and all the entry time frame zones are 5 minutes demand zones. All these are all. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 17 stocks are filtered. Out of these 17, how many are having strong institutional order flows based on zone confluence and EMA confluence strategies? So first filter is, let us filter these 17 based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. The EMA, not EMA, sorry, demand zone confluence. In the demand zone confluence parameter, I am setting the filter 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabled the filter and applying this filter on the 17 stocks. We got 14 stocks. That means in all the 14 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. And also 15 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks. Let's verify if any of these 15 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. Let's further filter. By applying the filter, we got 3 stocks. That way, these 3 5 minutes demand zones might be having strong institutional order flows, provide less than 20 concepts or checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones will be violated. Okay. Next, we will filter based on LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence support. 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. Removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. We are focusing on HTF. First in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone, both together again overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone, and 75 minutes trend is uptrend in all the stocks, all the 5 stocks. Let's verify if any of the 75 minutes demand zones are having uptrend. In that case, the overlapped 5 minutes demand zones might be having much better, stronger institutional order flow. So I am going back, EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, checking 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA. So 2 stocks are filtered. That way these 2 5 minutes demand zones might be having better institutional order flow. That's why this zone is tested several times, 7 times. Okay. So this is about bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame is 5 minutes. Entry time frame. Entry zone should be supply zone for bearish trade setup, and also bullish or bearish or sideways trade setup parameter at 5 minutes time frame. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score should be 12. And the 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 5 minutes time frame, setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Now we are applying all the 3 filters to 5-minute supply zone. We got 5 stocks. So these 5 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 5-minute supply zones. Out of these 5-minute supply zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on different zone confluence and EMA confluence filters. Okay, first one is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. How many are available out of 5? Let us verify. So in the supply zone confluence, I am adding a filter. 5-minute supply zone with 15-minute supply zone confluence. I enable the filter. Applying on the 5 stocks. We got all 5 are filtered. That means in all the 5 stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. And 15-minute trend, ITF trend, is down in all the 5 stocks. Let's verify any of the 15-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. One stock is filtered. This 5-minute supply zone having better order flow to get success. Maybe that is the reason why this zone is already tested twice. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. Later HTF EMA confluence. I am removing ITF EMA. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to check. First filter is already enabled, 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. Next 5 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. Enabled all the 3 filters. We got 4 stocks out of 5. That means in all the 4 stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with 15-minute supply zone, both together overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. But 75-minute trend is down, only 2 stocks. Let's verify in these 2 stocks any 75-minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At the same time, the trend at the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be only downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So one stock is filtered. That way, this 5-minute supply zone might be having strong institutional order flow. Provide less than 20 checklist items are satisfied. Otherwise, zones will be violated. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. So with this, we have completed all the 4 income trade reports. Next, we will look into stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. And weekly and above time frames, we will also identify price closed inside the demand and supply zones, and also verify those zones are having any EMA confluence, so that you can plan your own trades in those zones. Okay, starting with the yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone, one stock is filtered. I am giving you very few seconds time, so you have to pause and then proceed next after you study. Okay, next, price closed inside the yearly supply zone, no stocks. Next, half yearly time frame, stocks near to half yearly demand zone, no stocks. Near to half yearly supply zone, also no stocks. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Next time frame, quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, stocks near quarterly supply zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Let's further filter this list based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. And also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. We got 6 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 14 stocks. Let's further filter based on quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence. Trend either up or down, but not sideways. We got 2 stocks, the supply zones. Next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near monthly supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got 19 stocks. We can further filter this list based on monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. And also trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. We got 8 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the monthly supply zones. We got a big list. Quickly scrolling the list down. $43 stocks. We can further filter based on monthly supply zones having monthly EMA confluence. Monthly supply zone having monthly EMA, and also trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. We got 14 stocks, 14 monthly supply zones. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near to the weekly demand zone, we got 6 stocks. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone, first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 20 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let's further filter based on weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. We got 4 stocks. Next, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. We got a big list. Scrolling the list down quickly. So total 69 stocks. We can further filter based on weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. And also trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now list is come down to 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks are filtered. So this is about weekly. Next time frame daily already generated in the beginning of the report. So I'm moving on to the next time frame, 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near to the 125 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 125 minutes supply zone. We got 13 stocks. Next time frame 75 minutes I am not generating because already generated in the beginning of the report. So on the next time frame 25 minutes I am generating. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minutes supply zone. We got 10 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 15 minutes supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 5 minutes supply zone. We got 10 stocks. So this is about finding the stocks near demand and supply zones for all the time frames. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. So these are the stop buffers based on the daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices. Remaining all are equity stocks. So I'm scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, pause the video. After that, you can proceed further. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.